Tell you what, the majority of the best hunters I've known in British Columbia all came from Vancouver Island. You imagine growing up in this rainforest, trying to find a 3-foot tall deer successfully. It's kind of brings back the memories of excitement when I was a kid, you know. We're going through the jungle like this. And it can be hard at times just to find a game trail. Look at this stuff. You got ferns up to your shoulder, up to your neck, and nothing is easy. It's kind of cool. I just found a definite trail right here, going right by this log. It's faint, but you can tell. And all of a sudden it just triggers that little bit of excitement in me of wondering what's going through here. Oh, man, I'm going to get a camera in here or whatever. I'm going to salt lick or hang out and can't wait to come here in the rain and sneak around. Pretty cool. It's quite the thing running around in a rainforest, man. I'll tell you what. I ran through a rainforest in New Zealand, South Island, on the west coast. Holy cow, man! That was some jungle. It's crazy. I remember literally walking on top of green vines and roots forever, not even knowing if I was near the ground. It's so thick. Trying to find some red deer, red stags. The rainforest is something else, especially when it's raining. Anyway, babble. Gotta get some shares going here. Now, what do we got? Oh, there's a bunch of huckleberries right there. I haven't had those for a long time. Dear Steve Isdall, I'm the guy in PG who saw the 14-foot no head with the 2 orbs of light floating in front of its chest. About 25 years ago, I was hunting moose/elk 12 to 15 miles downriver from Taylor, BC. I was at the top of this hog's back, about to enter a thicket of thick willow jungle, which would open up to a poplar tree forest that sometimes would be hiding a moose. The bush noise, birds, crickets, bees, everything went silent, no sound. My hair was wire. I thought, maybe a grizzly. Grizzlies do not affect bugs and birds. I held my 300 Win close, and with one in the pipe as I threaded my way through this thicket, I had this high-level fear. I felt as if I might be killed any second. I made about 100 feet when the sound returned and the fear subsided. My hunting buddies lost a quarter of a very large bull moose near this spot the previous year. The quarter was 250 pounds and was removed from a corduroy bed of 3 to 4 inch older trees oriented parallel to assist cooling. There was no drag marks. The green trees were not moved or disturbed even a little. This second account is very bizarre to me. I was with a good friend who was successful in a legal large bull harvest way back on the Johnson Creek Road that runs west past the end of Moberly Lake. My friend had dropped this big ball dragger in a small bog. His legs and heavy body were sunk deep in the mud, and with my 3,500-pound winch on my quad was not enough to free it until we used a block and tackle to double our pull force. While my friend was re-rigging the lines, I could hear soft padded footballs moving in close and panting. I suspected wolves. Then the sounds I heard was voices, many voices. I hear a native dialect, words that I cannot understand. I could hear distant chanting/singing. I asked my friend if he could hear what I described. He heard nothing. I could swear I heard 80 to 90 voices. It sounded like a campground gathering, a celebration. There were no lakes or campgrounds in the immediate area. A GPS overshot confirmed this. There were no roads other than the gas line road we had accessed the area from, and these voices came from the opposite direction of that access road. I had a large 7-inch BK Bowie knife in my hand. I was christening it on this large moose that my friend shot on his birthday in August 2014. I ventured closer to see what I could see or hear, but that powerful fear and wire hair prevented me from entering the thick bush. I had my bloodied large knife in hand. I did not feel confident. I moved closer to my friend, resumed focus on the task at hand. The strange voices and words were audible to me, but not my friend, for about 20 minutes. I admit this all put me ill at ease. I do not know why I could hear all that, and my friend heard nothing. Sincerely, Phil Hookin, Prince George, BC, Canada. Give me a call if you're in the area. Phil, you've had a few encounters, man. You've seen some things. And what I'm thinking is possibly, from what I've been gathering from very educated people, experienced people, I should say, when it comes to this topic, very knowledgeable people, is I have a feeling possibly you may be personally, your energy may be vibrating on just a little bit more of a different frequency, so to speak, and it's allowing you to be more aware of what's going on, possibly. And I can directly relate to an experience of my partner hearing something clear as day and me hearing absolutely nothing where that sound came from. So I don't know who or what governs who gets to hear or not. I haven't a clue, but from what I'm understanding, I think it's possibly your own personal energy vibration, how your energy is vibrating, what level, what speed it is. I don't fully understand the energy thing yet, but I do understand that we are vibrating energy. That's 100% for certain. And because there's many people out there just like yourself who routinely have had numerous experiences throughout their lifetime, right? I mean, while other people haven't a clue. They're just cruising right through this whole lifetime being numb to everything and not sensing or seeing or hearing anything. But that's definitely quite interesting experience. And the moose meat going missing, that pissed me off. I can't stand losing game meat, especially moose or elk, because of the physical effort, usually the money that goes into getting that meat, and it's kind of not fair, right? For somebody to just go along and steal it, no matter who they are. And some of you might think, oh, well, you're hunting on their land. No, we're hunting on our land too. We share this planet. We all share this planet. Got it? I don't know who started the we're not supposed to be here, encroaching on their land. Oh my God, it's we're encroaching on and on and on. The big complaint, the big emotional blast. But one thing I can tell you for certain is this is all of our land together. Every single one of us on this planet. It's just how we treat it, right? And how we treat each other. But there's no borders. There is. You go on Google Earth and take a look at a map and show me where the Sasquatch border is. Sasquatch or humans? There isn't one, okay? Anyways, I babbled a little bit. I've only had coffee again. And thanks for that share, man. I'll be talking to you one day, without a doubt. I go through Prince George, I don't know, 4 times a year anyway, on average in the fall. What do we got here? Just a rock. Hi, Steve. Hope you're well. I'm sending another experience that took place a few years ago and 10 miles further east of Greenwater than my other experience that I sent you a few days ago. It was midsummer, and a small group of us went hiking up to Government Meadows in Mount Rainier National Forest here in Washington State. We'd driven up on the Forest Service road as far as we could and continued up Jeep Trail on foot. We'd only hiked in about 3 miles or so. We took our time because we had everyone's kids with us. There were about 5 adults, 6 kids ages 7 to 13. We saw a small herd of elk and some deer on the way up, but that was about it. We reached an area where the trees were sparse and had very little undergrowth and several windfalls. We decided to stop there to give the kids some lunch. There were large patches of sunshine, and it turned pretty warm. I was leaning against one of the windfalls and suddenly got the feeling we were being watched. I looked out beyond the group and saw what I first thought was a tall stump sitting about 30 feet away in the shade of the trees. Since I was in the sun, I couldn't see it real clearly, but like I first thought it was a stump. Like I said, I first thought it was a stump, but a stump has never made the hair on the back of my neck stand up, straight up. It was about 4 feet tall in various shades of dirty brown. The longer I looked, I could make out a thin figure like a gangly teenager squatting down with his arms to his side. I couldn't make out any clothing. I glanced at the face. It looked sort of human, but not. I was afraid to look it in the eye, although I didn't feel we were in danger. I just felt extremely uncomfortable because of its intense gaze, and it was perfectly still. I glanced to my side to make sure all the kids were accounted for, and when I turned back, it was gone, completely gone. With the sparse trees and little underbrush, we had visibility of 50 yards or more. I started scanning the surrounding area, but it was just gone, nowhere in sight. One of the guys saw me go into high alert and asked what I was looking for. I told him, but just said that I thought it was a man. I wonder if he might have known what I'd seen, because he hunts up in the same area, and he got the kids rounded up, and we were heading back to our trucks within 10 minutes. I didn't mention this to anyone because they'd probably not believe me and call me crazy. So anyway, there's my second experience. Thank you for your channel, Steve, and providing a safe place. Stay safe, Sandy B. Wow, Sandy. That'd be something else, right? And take a look around me. You know how many stumps are around me right now? There's so many big stumps around me, and I'm not really staring at every single stump or dart thing to see what it is, but what a bizarre thing to see. I just couldn't imagine what that would be like, to be in broad daylight and look at something that kind of looks like a stump, and it catches your eye, and you're looking and you're looking and you're looking, and all of a sudden you make out a freaking human-like being squatting there staring at you. I got goosebumps in my arms just picturing that right now, especially where I am. A crazy experience. I don't know if I've read your first encounter yet or not. If I haven't, I'm sure I'll get to it. I'm very interested in reading it, and make sure you keep sending them, all right? Again and again and again, if you got something you feel can help the people or helps yourself, send it here, okay? And we'll get it shared for you and hope that it helps somebody. We just want everything to help, right? Bigfoot encounter July 3rd, 2021. Hi, Steve. Followed your channel for over a year now. I enjoy and appreciate the work that you're doing. I was reluctant to share my experience for two reasons. First, the location, as I never expect to have an encounter anywhere near where I live. Secondly, it was an audible encounter only, but what an encounter it was. I'm 64 years old, a father and a grandfather. This event happened 10 or 12 years ago. I don't remember the exact date. I thought I would just put it out of my mind, but I guess we all know that ain't going to happen. I'm a hunter and a fisherman, and I've been in the woods a lot. I've been all over this wildlife area for the past 40 years, and I've never had anything unusual happen. This happened in the East Fork Wildlife Area, about 30 miles east of Cincinnati, near where the East Fork of the Little Miami River runs into the East Fork Lake. It was a pleasant sunny day with low humidity, so I thought I would go out and catch a couple of bass. It was probably around noon or 1 in the afternoon. I parked the car and the water was a few hundred yards away. I was not looking or thinking about Bigfoot. I walked toward where I wanted to go, and there was a small hill to get down to get there. At the bottom of the hill there was a huge field. There was nobody else around. It was just me and my fishing rod, and I was not armed. I got to the bottom of the hill and the water was still probably over 100 yards away. At the end of the field, adjacent to the water, is woods. I was a pretty good distance away from the tree line, and the area was open and flat. All at once, there was this extremely loud, very deep roar that came from in front of me. It was nothing like what I've ever heard before. I was absolutely paralyzed. I could not move, even though I wanted to run to be anywhere else but where I was at the moment. The sound went through my entire body, not only my chest. I felt it in my thighs, my calves, my arms, and my head. It was a bizarre, penetrating vibration that I hope I don't ever experience again. I was absolutely helpless and could not move. I felt like I was in a bubble or enveloped in something. I could not hear anything but the deafening roar. I thought for a moment that might be the end of the world. It came on so fast and so loud. This portion of the roar seemed to last 45 seconds to a minute, as best as I could tell. After the loudest part of the roar was over, the thing exhaled, and it continued to exhale for what seemed like another 30 to 45 seconds. Imagine what it sounded like when Darth Vader exhaled in the Star Wars movie, but very loud, long, and deep. I suppose I could also describe the sound as letting air out of a big air compressor at a lower pitch. What a lung capacity they must have. Or maybe their respiratory system is much they can inhale and roar or exhale at the same time. I was terrified with a level of fear and dread I'd never ever felt before. The other thing was that I couldn't see it. I was shaking all over. I kept thinking that I just wanted to go home. After it was finished exhaling, I realized I was able to move again, although I was still shaking and my body was tingling from the vibration of that roar. Ugh. I remained standing where I was continuing to shake and started an overlapping search to see if I could spot it. The thing had to be very close. I looked carefully and saw absolutely nothing. I never smelled anything. There was no place for it to hide. Then, oddly enough, I remember smiling slightly with a little chuckle and thought, that was a Bigfoot. I said to myself, I've got to get out of here and quick. I wanted to get home. Next, the thought came to mind that, no, I came here to fish and I'm going to fish. Guess what? I proceeded over to the water, started to fish. Holy shit. My heart wasn't really going into fishing after what I just went through. These beings could absolutely put thoughts into your mind that are not your own, and it seems they have the power of invisibility. There was no place near it could have hid. I felt there was no place near that it could have hid. It felt very close. I managed to fish for a few minutes and didn't catch anything. I guess the being left and I didn't feel obligated to fish anymore. I slowly walked back to my car, still bewildered about the whole ordeal. All these years later, I'm still bewildered. That's my story. It is absolutely true. It is still hard to accept what happened. I've not returned to the area where this happened. I hope my experience helps someone. I really don't care what people think about me. My name is Mike Shell, and you can use my name if you want. Thanks and best regards, Mike. You know, one thing, Mike, is every single person that experiences that roar describes it basically exactly the same. Have you noticed that one? But I'm not sure. I don't think we've had anybody has reported in hearing the roar and that exhale and seeing it. I don't think anybody's reported seeing a being rip that description of a roar out, or have seen a being, typical Sasquatch description, let out that exhale, physically seeing it happen. If someone has, maybe point it out in the comment section below or email it into me so I can review it or read it, because I'm curious to know, because I am not 100% sold that it is the Sasquatch beings that are making that sound. For me personally, I'm not 100% on board yet that they are what's responsible for that description of a roar and exhale. It sounds a little bit much for just an 8 to 10 foot tall being with lungs that are possibly, 3 times bigger than us? Possibly? Anyway, it's a mystery, right? And it's not something fun to experience. Nobody said it was the best thing that ever happened, hearing one of those roars, that's for sure. Thanks again for sending that in, man. Appreciate it. It's a good descriptive. Hello, Steve. Thank you for all your dedication in getting the truth out and getting people heard. My name is Dan. I'm 35 and I live in southern Maine/New Hampshire border. I'd like to address something said before. Why no clear pictures or high definition videos? Well, the answer for everyone out there is that lots of pictures and videos show these things up close and every detail, and all you have to do is look for them on the web. I've had a couple strange experiences. I'd like to share something that happened to me only a week ago. My girlfriend and I went swimming at this little gem of a spot we found right off a hiking trail. That's a nice 3-mile loop along the Salmon Falls River. That is the border between Maine and New Hampshire. We had been swimming for a couple of hours. My girlfriend, myself, and our 13-year-old field springer named Tramp, who is a puppy of an old dog. When we were leaving, it's about a quarter mile back to the parking lot. Someone had actually put up a warning sign saying this is Bigfoot territory and to stay on the trail. We're only a few hundred yards into the walk back, and I felt something watching me. To my right, between the trail and the river, was a 6-foot-tall tan Sasquatch standing half behind a tree, half frozen in place, just watching us. I stood there just looking it in the eyes. I stared this being up and down, seeing every detail. It was a peaceful encounter. Steve, it was frozen in place like a squirrel does to a dog so the dog won't see him. It was dark-tanned, bearded man with tan hair, 6 inches or longer, covering his entire body except the cheeks around the eyes and forehead. The impression I got from it was, I live here, I'm just checking you out, hello. It looked the same exactly as the white one I include in the pictures, only it was a brown one. Steve, I don't know about the sense of fear people get There was no smell, and it was only 30 feet from me downhill and 10 feet from the river. My girlfriend goes to that trail daily to walk the dog, and after seeing this guy, I have no problem with it. Included is a picture of the white one. It looked exactly the same, only tan. The other pictures are screen grabs. Thank you for giving everyone a voice, and I hope everyone can see one as close and peacefully as I did. Thank you, Dan T. Wow. Dan, I don't have the picture included on my phone. I explained earlier in another video how hard it was for me previously to save photos while I'm cracking open the emails. My phone just didn't have the power to do it. It's very frustrating. But we all know which white one that is, and that was mentioned in another email previously. It's the white one with the flashlight on it that got caught in the in front of a video camera in Pennsylvania in the woods. That's quite the description. And that's one hell of a skill to have for a human-like being, man-like being. You know, every animal knows how to do it. Every animal can stand there absolutely frozen, dead still while their gaze is locked on you. I'd love to have that kind of muscle control myself, but it's interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see that. I mean, that thing that I saw above me, it was frozen still foreshore until I spoke. When I spoke, that's when it moved. But it's a very effective skill. It's a very effective move, is to stand absolutely frozen and do not move. And when it comes to human beings, all animals, it's a very, very hard thing to detect if you can't feel the energy or if you can't smell the scent from downhill, right? Anyway, let's see what I got. One more, and then I gotta get going. All right, one more quick one here. Another one from Kentucky. Good day, Steve. My name is Keith, and I'd like to share my story. This event happened early morning, December 17th, 2020. I was on my way to work in central Kentucky. I don't want to give the exact location for the safety of these creatures. It was that orangish time of morning just prior to sunrise. I'd just gone around a bend in the highway when I saw a very large man in a black hoodie walk across the highway and up a steep embankment. There's a thin tree line at the top and then an open field. When I got to the place he crossed, he was gone, just disappeared. This is when my logical mind kicked in. Why did this man cross at this location when there was a gravel drive 30 yards prior? How could any human cross a 2-lane highway in 4 strides? How could any human climb a 45-degree embankment without breaking stride? And lastly, humans don't disappear. I don't understand what I saw, but I do know what I saw. Steve, please keep up the good work. Good luck in your move. Moving's never fun. No, it's not, and I gotta get going. But Keith, thanks for that share, man. This must be, isn't it something else? Isn't that a crazy thing to see? And not being familiar with that shit previously? Mind-boggling. And then as soon as you see it, you got to try to figure out who the hell you're going to be able to tell, right? Frustrating for some, for many, but not anymore, not here. I got to get going and get on with much. And I'll be back shortly with much. What are you doing, little boy? Huh? What are you doing? Extremely happy in the new digs. Oh my gosh, that was a haul yesterday. And when we got back the other day, one thing with horses, especially, I don't know about anywhere else on the planet, but here in British Columbia, when you glance out the window and their tails are whipping all over the frickin' place and they're kicking their feet up, they're absolutely uncomfortable. And when you see their tails hanging straight down, it makes me calm because I know they're absolutely calm and comfortable. When we got back yesterday, the mosquitoes were probably the worst I've ever seen in my life. They were bouncing off of each other rubbing their heads, rubbing their necks, and running around in circles and kicking and going absolutely crazy. I had to put on rain gear right away to save my ass while I was emergency putting bug dope on them. It's quite the send-off, wasn't it, buddy? All right? And then we stopped in the horse trailer, and then off we went for, yeah, I guess 7 or 8 hours anyway. They were in the horse trailer until we finally got here. And now they're just cruising around in the timber here, and they got some fields out in the back here, and the timber in here for shade, and there's no mosquitoes. There's a couple mosquitoes, but nothing. You can see they're, I don't know if you can see them in the camera or not, it's too far to tell for me, but they are calm and comfortable. It's so good. Right? But anyway, I still got to make, I don't know how many runs back. Still got to make, I don't know. I got a car I got to drive back. I got another boat I got to drive back. Haul back. I've got, I don't know how much stuff. I still got a lot of stuff. And then to top it off, my buddy's out where I keep the boat in the water, where I'm going to be guiding again shortly. My 2 buddies, one buddy owns the lodge. They were tormenting me yesterday with a text that they had 7 salmon at the 30-pound plus mark yesterday. No, day before yesterday. And they texted me yesterday morning saying the morning started out exactly the same again. And for all you anglers out there, you can imagine what that feels like, right? It was just a punch to the guts. Oh! It was prime time out there in the water. And I want to be filming under the water right now in this particular spot where this particular run of salmon's going through right now, and I can't. It's hard to take. But anyway, I'm gonna get some emails done anyway before I go. Hide in the shade, horses for a little bit, and see what's going on. But listen to this. Remember that person emailed in about that monstrous turtle shell with the numbers on it? Well, we got an email reply here. It says, turtle shell with numbers on it. I think this is a reply. Hey Steve, I've been wanting to write in concerning an event that happened to myself and my middle brother when we were kids. We never had the courage to do so until you read that gentleman's account about that dinosaur/turtle shell with an apparent serial number on it. Now I'll have to be, okay, there's a few spelling mistakes in here, so bear with me if I'm not too smooth in this one, alright? Now I will have 2 stories to submit here, and both involve myself and my middle brother. First story back in the summer of '74 in southern New Jersey, Michigan. Cumberland, now it says Cumberland, Colorado. I think we're missing a chunk of this email. My brother and I were behind our home digging out box and painted turtles from the mud of a mostly dried up creek bed. We would do this so that we could race them against each other if we were lucky enough to find 2 or 3 of them. One day right after school, let out for the summer, we were digging as usual with our bare hands, and I dug and gripped what I thought was a very large and gray creek stone. The object came out surprisingly easy, and I screamed when I realized it had moving legs. I got out of it immediately in fright and ran away about 5 yards back from it. Realizing straight away that this was a turtle we'd never seen before. We carefully roped and brought it up to our house in a huge grapefruit box. After our collective fright wore off, kids would still be kids no matter how scared. The turtle was very heavy, I'd guess about 25 to 30 pounds. We hosed the mud off the turtle's blackish gray shell, and we both realized at the same time there was a series of numbers and a few letters, not painted but etched into one of the sides of the turtle. Perhaps it was branded. Now this is getting interesting, isn't it? The turtle was maybe about 3.5 feet long and very dark, almost black, and a bit oval shaped. Even its head was black and long with grayish colored eyes. This giant turtle also had a yellow-greenish line around the edges of its carapace. As a resident of New Jersey for 45 of my 57 years, I know all of the turtles look like here. And that turtle was not native to NJ or anywhere near NJ that we could determine at 10 and 12 years old. We kept the turtle in a box overnight, and damn it if the greenish line didn't glow in the dark. What? The odd thing about the numbers on it was that the shell was growing over the original etching, and it was beginning to flake in areas. It had been etched a very long time ago, as turtles grow quite slowly. Fast forward to about 10 or maybe 12 years ago, I was reading a magazine called Weird New Jersey, which is all about strange goings-on in the state of New Jersey. I about flipped my wig when someone wrote in that magazine with a story much the same as mine. Some large size color, same head, eyes, glowing greenish carapace. But this turtle was found way up in Bergen, Colorado. Bergen, CO. In the extreme northern part of the state, as opposed to our finding in the extreme southern part of the state. I mean, what are the odds? And all those years later, I tried to reach the writer of that story, but to no avail. It all seems very strange to me. I've never been able to find any colleges or nature studies or wetlands institutes that know anything about it. Both our turtles disappeared after only one night in captivity. And in our case, the turtle could not have escaped because we had 4 paver bricks holding down a screen over the box it was in. Plus, even if it did get out, where the hell did it go? We never did find the thing despite searching for weeks. The bricks and the screen were still in place and the box it was in our basement. Holy shit. This is a crazy story, man. We should have written down the numbers and letters, but we never did because we were going to take it to a wetlands consortium later in the week to see if we could find someone to make sense of it. What exactly happened to the northern NJ turtle, we'll never know. I did my best to sketch the turtle as best I could. Remember from childhood it was so that we might identify it. We still have no idea what kind of turtle it was. More interestingly, why all of this etching into a great big unknown turtle species. Remember, this was in 1974. There had to be more than just 2. Why did these turtles escape? Or were they simply let go? These turtles were by no means gigantic, as in a Galapagos turtle or anything of those proportions, but awfully big by Eastern U.S. standards. The whole thing is just plain weird. Makes me wonder if perhaps more of the turtles were found over the years, but the big question is, why? I was going to write another story, a very, very frightening one, but I've already rambled on too much as it is. Just wondering if anyone else out there has discovered any more of these mystery turtles. You can use my name. I'll write the other story when I have time, too. Soon. Keep smashing forward, Steve. Lori Myers. Mierzejewski. Mierzejewski. Lori Myers, Mierzejewski, Gavin. Oh my god, I hope I probably butchered that one name in there. I'm sorry, I apologize. That's a crazy story. Who'd have thought we would have an actual, we'd be going down a turtle rabbit hole on this channel, right? But it's an interesting one. And if any of you guys, anybody out there has some information they can relate to this, or have they seen the same thing or heard the same thing, I'm interested in hearing more about that, aren't you? Who would want to know about a turtle with numbers etched in, possibly glowing parts on it, and it disappeared out of a basement? And furthermore, for all the people shaking your head saying the person's crazy, who the hell would make that up to that detail, seek out this YouTube channel, and then the email, and then actually take the time to sit down and write this shit out? I don't think so. So, yeah, I want to hear more about this. I'm sure a bunch of other people are probably curious as well. That's crazy. Turtles. Who would have thought? Okay, what's this? Hey Steve, truly enjoying watching your YouTube channel as you read all the viewers' emails about their sightings and encounters. With all your experience being outdoors in the wild and hunting all kinds of big game, me and my buddies truly believe you would be the ideal person to take one of these beasts down, or at least get some good video or pictures of them. That's what the public needs to have, an actual body. Then the government can't deny their existence anymore. We truly believe you're one of the few people that are stealthy enough to sneak up on one of these creatures and take a video, or better yet, take one down. Thanks for all you're doing, John in South Florida. Okay, John, thanks for that, man. I would have to possibly disagree. These aren't just these aren't just a beast, okay, man? If you listen to all the hundreds of emails here, there's a lot more to these things than them just being a... these are far, far more advanced, more intelligent beings than us. We even the public, the people's technology that we're allowed to have, from the pricks who control the upper levels of technology and knowledge, it just isn't good enough. Our technology, our cameras, our trail cameras, our cell phones, everything just isn't good enough to capture these on video. So to think that it would be that simple just to go out and stalk one and hunt one in the timber and kill it, it's not going to happen, man, unless Yeah, it's just not. I don't have any interest in it. I have zero interest in needing the government for anything. I have zero respect for the current government, North American government right now, especially. I got nothing for them. There's nothing they have that I need. There's nothing they have that I want. I want them gone, to be honest. So on that note, that's what this channel's about. It's about all the people. And I don't know any other more of a better way to get the voices heard from all the people but doing this. If the people can't speak openly on social media, they get deleted, censored, Facebook especially, which I don't go on. Getting back to this original point I'm making before I babble. The proof is in. The cat's out of the bag. What I am trying to do is I'm trying to get everybody to understand that your neighbor isn't the enemy anymore. It never was. The people aren't enemies of each other anymore. We're putting an end to it here. What we're doing is we're giving everybody their voice back, which has been taken away from them for too long, which has enabled all these dirty bastards to get in control and take most of our money, right? So, I know I'm babbling a little bit, but that email that you sent me, there's a whole bunch of points I can make to help people understand why. No, I have no interest in going out and seeking these beings and killing them. I did intentionally seek them out 8 or 9 years ago and had my ass handed to me. And yes, I have successfully guided and hunted basically everything, almost everything in North America, more guided, numerous times. And if I wanted to go have an encounter specifically with these beings, I could probably do it within 2 or 3 days, 100%. That's how I feel about it in my mind. Not a problem. Am I interested in doing that? No. Do I want to kill one of these beings? No. I don't. Not a chance. I do not need that wrath of hell dumped on the rest of my existence in the face of this planet as a result of doing that intentionally unprovoked. Would I kill one of these beings if they're threatening me or my family? In a heartbeat. Pull in the head if I could. Wouldn't even hesitate. But that goes to say the same for anything else, including humans or a grizzly bear or a wolf or whatever. Somebody's harming your family, you kill it. The proof's in. The proof is in. The cat's out of the bag. We've got tens of thousands of first-hand witnesses from our community, our neighbors, our relatives, our friends, our family. That's all the proof we need. Maybe not for some, but for me, I've seen the damn thing, so I don't need any proof. But I don't know who it is. Someone made it acceptable to absolutely annihilate the word of your neighbor when it comes to the people. I don't know who did it. I looked to kick them in the nuts as hard as I could. But that's what we're doing here. We're turning that around. Everybody's voice counts. Everybody's voice needs to be heard. And when we've heard this many voices, the cat's out of the bag. The thing's been proven. So what we're getting on to about now is what else are we being lied to? Why are we being lied to? Why are we being misled? Why? Right? The sooner we find out all those whys, then clear answers when it comes to this topic and much more will be in our face, and we'll be able to deal with it, and we'll be able to help each other live a more fulfilling life, right? How's that for a little coffee-induced babble? I just got called in for breakfast, but I'm gonna stick it out here for a couple more emails first. But I gotta get some food in me, and I gotta travel another 8 hours all the way back for another load. But anyway, thanks for writing that in. And just so you know, there's a lot more to this than mentioned in the email. Okay, man. The proof's in. They're real. We've listened to the people. The government doesn't count. I guess they do in a way, but they don't with me. So, titled "Read One Sasquatch, One Dog Man." Hi, Steve. My name is Mark. You can use my name. I've been listening to your channel for about the last 4 months. Kind of found it by accident, and I'm damn glad I did now. I was searching and have been searching for acknowledgement and the truth about what I saw. Hearing all the stories from your viewers from around the world, as well your words of wisdom and advice on how you react to them, is very helpful. The big puzzle is very intriguing to me and helps to answer many questions I myself had. Since having my experiences, I have 2 of my own. One Sabe and one Dogman encounter. Part 1, Sabe encounter. For all you who are new to the channel, Sabe is the Ojibwe word for the Sasquatch people, the beings. And we decided to use that instead of the typical classic cheesy Bigfoot label. That's up to you. Call it whatever you want. It's just me. That's my preference. I don't want anybody to do what I do or say what I say. I just give up options and different angles to see things from. So I prefer to use the indigenous people's names for these beings myself. I feel it just brings more credibility to the topic myself. My first experience when I was 9 or 10 years old. My parents planned an RV vacation from my home at the time in Albuquerque, New Mexico, to my uncle's house who lives in Anchorage, Alaska. All 5 of us kids went with them, and unfortunately we left the dog at home for a friend to take care of. I am the middle of 5, with 2 older brothers and a younger brother and sister. The trip was cramped, going from state to state while staying in parking lots at Walmarts, truck stops, and KOA campgrounds. No doubt. The trip was pretty uneventful until we ended up in the Pacific Northwest. I've never seen such dense forests with such big trees in my life. New Mexico has forests, but nothing like this. Anyhow, my dad parked the RV at a KOA campground. For the next 2 days, we're going to stay there and then take a ferry ride across to Puget Sound so we get on a cruise ship, then carry on to Anchorage. That would have meant you would have traveled right past the view of my bedroom window once you got up alongside Vancouver Island at the time. Well, at the KOA, my mom and dad set the RV up and hooked up utilities. I must mention that being that far north during the summer, you get an extra daylight and the sun doesn't really go completely down. So that completely threw off my sleep schedule. Me and my brothers went out to scout the area and to play in the campground. My mom made sure that we never venture too far away from the RV or we'd be grounded for the rest of the trip. Well, me and my little brother, 7 or 8 years old at the time, ventured outside after dinner. Everybody's asleep but us. Oh no. That makes me cringe. So, being daylight still, we ventured out into the woods a little past the area of comfort set by my mom. Boys will do what boys gonna do, right? Yes, they do. While I was leading, I saw a clearing past the edge of a tree line about 50 yards away from the RV. When me and my little brother had gotten there, it was not a clearing at all. It was a straight down vertical drop to a creek about 40 feet below us. So we looked for our way down and saw a small ravine that would take us right to the creek. As I was about to walk towards the ravine, my little brother noticed the top of this tree shaking violently across the creek from where we were standing. Being 40 feet up on the high bank, I saw it too. About 30 yards from us, this tree would shake and stop, shake and stop. So I tried looking down towards the base of the tree, and that's when my little brother and I both saw it. It was a Bigfoot. I was frozen and stuck staring. It was reddish brown, like the color of dead pine needles. Long hair hung under its elbows. I saw its arm swing down off the trunk of the tree and it turned 180 degrees and walked away. As the Sabe walked away, I saw its knee lift up and its arm swung low as it left. The hands and fingers were dark gray in color and the foot had ashy gray color to it. I wish I had seen his face, but the dense tree and the bush cover obscured me from seeing the whole upper part of it. After that, I turned and ran to catch up with my little brother. My little brother didn't bother sticking around to see it and was screaming, "Bear, bear." As he ran back towards our RV, I yelled, "It wasn't a bear," as we both ran back. Once back in the RV, we woke everybody up. My mom and dad, of course, grounded us, and my older brothers didn't believe us. To this day, my parents still say I saw a bear, and I was never able to convince my little brother either, but I know exactly what I saw, and I'll never forget it either. Send your parents a few videos from this channel after this, would you? Part 2, Dogman Encounter. Many years later, life throws you many curveballs. I ended up moving to Fort Worth, Texas, and I became a truck driver. I currently drive for a large carrier known as FedEx Ground. Fort Worth. I've been to Fort Worth, been to the stockyards, stayed at the stockyards. Is that near Fort Worth, I think? We're all contract drivers, so the actual contractor name I will not disclose yet. LOL. This encounter happened in the spring of 2018. I had a team run from Fort Worth to Meridian, Mississippi. Being a team truck, one driver sleeps in the bunk of the back while the other guy drives. And once you drive, time runs out, or you get to trailer swap. And once you drive, time runs out, or you get to the trailer swap point, you both switch. Well, it was my turn to drive nights, and boy do I hate driving nights. It was rainy and foggy at times. We had a tropical storm moving across in Louisiana, Mississippi coastal areas, so the weather sucked ass the entire week. As I was driving, this area has rolling hills, very tall trees, and large grassy medians in the middle. And there's always lots of deer eating the grass shoots in groups of 5 to 10 per head. I've driven that same route, man. As driving through there, you always have to keep an eye out and slow down when you see them. Well, this night was different. The tropical storm was dumping buckets of rain, so I was driving slower than usual. Most people stay home and don't venture out in the tropical weather unless they absolutely have to. There were no deer out this night, which I found to be very strange, and the traffic was also very light. I was going up and down the long hills, and I thought I saw either a large tire, debris, or a couch on the side of the road atop the next hill. So I turned on my brights and switched lanes before going up the other side. When I topped the hill, that'll be a chainsaw. When I topped the hill, the road debris was gone. I was like, where did it go? I could have sworn I saw, and then I saw it. This thing was as big as a freaking horse. It was running at a 45-degree angle away from the highway, but it was clutching something. That's when I knew it definitely wasn't a horse. I slowed way down and was dumbstruck seeing this thing running with a deer clutched under its arm. It had a weird run to it, almost as if it were squat running on two legs and using its free arm to pull itself forward. At that point, it turned its head at me. It had a wolf's head and yellow glowing eyes. It had dark jet black hair, a tail, large shoulders like a lion has, long pointed ears like a cropped Great Dane or Doberman Pinscher, and those teeth. The teeth were like 2 rows of canines, upper and lower jaws. What the hell? I didn't know what the hell this animal was. The thing had to be 400 to 500 pounds. It was huge. I really wasn't paying attention to my driving anymore. I ended up hitting the rumble strips on the shoulder I went. That made me take my eyes off it for a split second and regain control of my big rig. Slowing down, I rolled down my window to get a better look. Even though it was raining heavily, I had to see this thing. As I passed, it stood up, facing away from me. This thing's head was the same height as I was, sitting in my big rig. It was at least 9 feet tall then. The stench was a mix between rotten meat and wet dog smell. I guess the rotten meat was from the deer carcass. It could have been a fresh kill too, so I'll never know for sure. I then had to keep my rig on the road and I kept going. In my taillights, I saw a glowing red eye shine, as well as a second set of eyes up on the trees beside it. I don't know if it was a young one coming down to feed or if it was a second dogman waiting for the kill. As I regained control of my rig, call me crazy, I looked for the next exit. I was going to turn around and go back to confirm what I'd just seen. There was an overpass coming up, but it didn't have an exit, so I continued on, shaking with my eyes peeled the rest of the way. I asked my co-driver if he had seen any wolves or bears while he drove. He said, hell no, not once. So I left what happened to myself. My encounter stays with me forever. I've only told close friends. They believe what I saw because I'm a brutally honest kind of guy with them. Sorry to hear the passing of Mr. Macaroni. I had a good big old baby Mr. Spotty pass on me as well last year. That's sad, man. Anyhow, keep up the good work and God bless, Mark. Holy shit, Mark. Tell you what, I'm going to say it, unfortunately. That's how I feel about it. Unfortunately, thousands of people have seen the same thing you just described to all of us. Thousands. How shitty is that? In a way. I mean, once you see, I haven't seen anything like that before in my life. What I have seen is, I've seen the classic upright being hair covered, possibly hair covered. Well, yeah. What I've seen is the classic upright beings right up here in the northwest. I don't know what that would do to me seeing that thing ripping along like that and that big in that description. That is a classic nasty ass monster description. I don't know what I would do with friends and family and children if I'd seen one of those things any time in my lifetime. I don't know if I'd even lived in the forest. Who knows? But I know one thing for sure, I would probably blow its head off if I saw it. I said it before, I'll say it again, I probably would. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Hopefully we get the answers, right? Hopefully we get the answers. I'm pretty confident we will get the answers, but what a shit-eating thing to see. What a shit-eating thing to have to describe to somebody that you saw while you're driving and you didn't ask for it, right? How do you share that with somebody? How do you share that with somebody who does not have a clue about these topics and what's going on for real on the planet? Crazy. But anyway, I gotta get going. I gotta cut this short. I got breakfast ready, and this chainsaw behind my head up in the neighbor's back 40 crossway is gonna drive me insane. So I will. I'll be back again soon, and I'm gonna start sharing, and I'm gonna start taking you guys some crazy places. Just the other night, when we got back late last night, we drove all the way down to the river bed here to get some buckets of water for the horses. Buckets over here. And there was this weird shrieking in the dark. I could hear it through the window over the diesel motor. It was like, shh, but more of a whistle to it. And I finally spotted I thought it was in the bushes beside the truck. And then another one here, and another one there, another one there. And it's something I'd never heard before. And I got my cell phone out, turned on the flashlight, and I looked, and right there was 3 owls, about that big. And they looked to be more grayish than anything, and they were just kept on shrieking non-stop. And hopefully when I'm back again, I'm going to go in there again at nighttime and see if they're doing it. I'm going to bring this microphone. I'm just going to leave it there in the woods and record those calls clearly, because they sounded absolutely crazy bizarre. They're really cool. But I got a lot I'm going to show, a lot I'm going to share, a lot of traveling I'm going to do. I got to get back in the water. I got to get back in the mountains. I got all sorts of shit I have to do, which means I start filming and sharing these a lot more as well, and getting more answers in, and more knowledgeable people. Anyway, I got to go. Dabbling. Be safe out there. Keep emailing them in, and I'll find them and I'll share them.